G'day. It's Nick here and welcome to Wicked Wildlife. Now today I want to bring you guys a video that's a little bit different to what we normally do. I'm not going to be showing you any animals that are mine or that are in wildlife carers because today is a bit different. You see, tomorrow, the 7th of September, is National Threatened Species Day. And the reason that we have it on that day is that's the day that in 1936 Benjamin, the last Tasmanian tiger, died in Hobart Zoo, meaning the end of his species. So decades later, the government decided that's the day that we'll all acknowledge all the animals that really need our protection. The problem with this is, you can't protect animals you don't know about. So in this video, I want to show you guys 5 critically endangered Australian animals that most people are unaware of that really need your help. So stick around guys, we're talking about endangered Australians. Pretty endangered. For all wicked wildlife encounters, this is totally our resident member to our wild family. Here's Australian. The western swamp tortoise. Besides being Australia's smallest species of turtle, the western swamp tortoise is also Australia's rarest reptile. They live around the Perth region in Western Australia, which was heavily developed for agriculture ever since the 1830s, and as a result, this species was believed to be extinct for over 100 years. It wasn't until 1953 when a wild population of only 30 animals was rediscovered in a very small area landlocked along the west coast of Australia. Since 1989, Perth Zoo has worked towards breeding these guys and releasing them into the wild, with over 700 baby turtles released into their natural range. Today, along with Adelaide Zoo, they also keep an insurance population of 200 animals. Despite the effort of zoos and wildlife parks to release these guys into the wild again, their current population is only found within a 5-kilometre strip along the coast near Perth. Due to development, fires and drought, this species of turtle has nowhere left to go, and without human intervention is likely to go extinct in the wild. The Corroboree Frog. There's 2 species of Corroboree frog in Australia, the southern and the northern, and the southern is critically endangered, with the northern not being far behind. They've always had a small distribution, with the southern Corroboree frog only being found 1,300 metres above sea level, and its entire range within Kosciuszko National Park. Despite this, they were believed to be a common species until the 1970s. In 2004, however, they numbered a total of only 64. This is thought to be due to a variety of reasons, such as the damage from 4-wheel driving, the development of ski resorts, drought and feral animals affecting their breeding areas, and the major impact is due to the introduction of chytrid fungus, an infectious disease affecting frogs all around the world. In 2013, it was discovered that only 13 breeding males remained in the wild, and so a large enclosure was built within Kosciuszko National Park to breed these guys in their natural environment. The enclosure was then stocked with 120 Corroboree frogs that were bred by the Amphibian Research Centre, as well as 120 eggs from Taronga Zoo. And without ongoing efforts from wildlife parks such as these, this species would likely go extinct in the wild in the near future. The northern hairy-nosed wombat. The northern hairy-nosed wombat is the largest of the 3 species living in Australia today, and is critically endangered mostly as a result of agricultural development of its range. They used to be found from Victoria through New South Wales up into central Queensland, but today are only found in 2 very small isolated patches. In 1980, there was only 35 of these guys left, and they all lived within 750 acres of Epping Forest National Park in Claremont, Queensland. Since then, there's been a great deal of work go into conserving and helping these guys breed in their natural environment, but there is none kept in captivity. Thanks to the management of volunteers and rangers alike, the population in Epping Forest has grown to 230 animals, including 9 that were relocated in recent years to St. George in southern Queensland to avoid all of the animals living in one place in case of fire, disease or another natural disaster. While these guys have grown in numbers significantly since the 1980s, 230 animals in total with none in captivity is still a very precarious situation to be in, and is many more times more endangered than things like pandas and tigers that we generally think of as endangered wildlife. So he certainly needs our help today. The Gilberts pottery. The Gilberts pottery is the most endangered marsupial in Australia, and probably one of the most endangered mammals on Earth, despite the fact that most Australians have never actually heard of them. They were thought to be extinct for the better part of a century before one was rediscovered in 1994 in Two Peoples Nature Reserve in Western Australia, which was actually trapped by accident by scientists trapping wallaby species to do a study. Since then, several Gilberts potteries were taken into captivity where they have bred with little success. Animals have also been captured and moved onto predator-free islands off the coast of Western Australia where they've been allowed to breed up away from cats and foxes. Today, the total wild population within Two Peoples Bay Nature Reserve numbers only 30 to 40 animals, although the insurance populations on these offshore islands are slightly higher. Unfortunately, due to cats, foxes, disease and slow reproductive rate, these guys are still on the brink of extinction today, despite the fact that most people haven't even heard that they exist. The orange-bellied parrot. This small parrot is one of only 3 species of parrot in the entire world to migrate. They breed only in the southwest coast of Tasmania and fly across the Bass Strait to spend their winters on coastal Victoria and South Australia. Unfortunately, they are affected by habitat loss, introduced weeds, cats and foxes. And today, there are only 14 birds left in the wild. Luckily, several zoos maintain an insurance population that today numbers around 350 birds. But due to a recent outbreak of beak and feather disease in southwest Tasmania, their only breeding ground, this insurance population is more vital than ever. Without the assistance of zoos, the orange-bellied parrot could go extinct in the wild in 3 to 5 years' time.
So when you hear all that, guys, you can be forgiven for thinking it's a story full of gloom and doom. But the difference between these 5 animals and Benjamin, the Tasmanian tiger, is that we're aware of these guys. We can start protecting them. There's people already putting in the huge amount of work to keep these guys away from extinction and to start helping them crawl back. But they're not enough. What these animals need is you guys. It needs the Australian public. It needs people from overseas to come and want to see these. You know, Australians are going to look after koalas because people come to Australia and say, oh, where are the koalas? Go, oh, we better look after them, shouldn't we? Until people start coming to Australia and saying, I want to see the Corroboree Frog. Where's the Corroboree Frog? Or, you know, where can I see a Gilberts pottery? Until that starts happening, these guys aren't going to attract the money and the attention that they need to get them away from being dependent on humans. Because while we may have saved them, without humans intervening, all 5 of these animals aren't going to be here any longer. So we need to get them to a point where we've saved them instead of just holding on to them. So please guys, share this video and do your bit to help endangered Australian wildlife, because there's no point in us criticising countries about pandas and tigers when we're losing more animals than any other country on the world. It's just not right. Now, I hope you've enjoyed the video, even if it might seem a bit of a downer. But please hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends. There's always more videos coming up where we get a bit more hands-on with some of our own animals and visit wildlife carers and the like. Other than that, guys, please be nice to wildlife. Find a way to help them out on Threatened Species Day. Have a good one and take care.